I said, plug me in. I got stuff to talk about, damn it. I'll crawl out of my earbuds once a week to give you a show. That's what I do, folks. I do this show for the common man, for the people in despair. I bring this show into the world and I sell it everywhere. The simple truth lies waiting here, folks, for all of you to share. Hold on, I will take you there.
Hey, what's happening? That's a weird hey. Hey, let's try it again. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-year-old boy. I don't like that. I'm going to try it again. And I should probably just start over, right? But instead, no, I'm going to torment you. I'm going to make you listen to me do multiple takes. Let's do it again. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-year-old boy podcast. See? I got it right. I nailed it on the third try. It's usually how I do it, folks. I record this podcast 3 times a week, and I usually take the best of the takes. So imagine that. 6 hours of audio, I got to sort through and figure out which is the best one. Someday, I'll put up all the old audio so you can decide for yourselves. We'll have a poll. Every week, you know what? Maybe I should do that. I should put out all 3 shows and let you decide exactly which one should go up. You know, folks, I'm supposed to be in California right now, sunny California, 78-degree California, either sitting in my house if our friend Lily is not available, or in the oldest building in Hollywood, reuniting with our producer, our beloved producer, our long-lost producer, Lily Von Stupp. I was going to be recording in her place either on Tuesday or Wednesday. I was not sure which. We were kind of debating and going back and forth and trying to find out what day would work best for her. But the point was I was going to be flying home. I was in Wisconsin for the Super Bowl and here with the beautiful Jill. And I was going to be there I was there like 6 days, which was amazing. And then coming home on Monday night. And then being home Tuesday, Wednesday. And the weird thing was, my work is being kind of funky, like with hours and stuff. So when I scheduled the trip, I told them when I was going to be out of town, and they knew I was going to be out of town, so they gave me those days off. And then, just for fuck's sake, they went ahead and said, you know what, take Tuesday and Wednesday off too. I've been gone a week. I need money, like everybody else in the fucking world. But who am I to bitch, right? I'm merely a delivery boy. I'm a cog in the machine, a well-oiled machine, and by oiled, I mean well-sauced, a well-sauced machine. I'm a cog in that, and so I can't complain, although I will. And I do. And you're aware of that. You subscribe to those complaints every week on the iTunes store. You get it into your iPod, into your ears. I'm there right now, crouching on your cerebellum, telling you all about my problems. But, so I was off Tuesday, Wednesday, so that meant I was going to get to town, and I had some stuff to take care of on Tuesday and Wednesday. Like I said, I was going to be recording possibly that Tuesday or that Wednesday, all depended on the Lily Von Stupp schedule, because she is a very busy woman, as you know, putting on shows, traveling, doing burlesque, flyering, which I gotta be honest with you, that I don't fucking, she's done that forever for her shows. And I always was like, oh man, comedy shows, those are rough, and you gotta go there and perform, and it's hard, and I would get in my own head telling myself that I couldn't do it, or I shouldn't do it, or maybe I wasn't good at it, or or I was gonna say good and great, and I said GERD. I think I just did. Rewind it. Go rewind it. I was gonna say I'm not great at it or good at it. I went, I'm not GERD at it. I'll be honest with you, I'm not good or great, and I'm certainly not GERD at it. But I would get in my own head about comedy shows, but you know what I had to fucking do? People would put on the show, I had to show up and just do comedy. That's it. I walked in the door, I got on stage, I tried to make people laugh in the fucking crowd. Lily Von Stupp puts on shows, like storytelling shows and all that. We'll talk about them later in this podcast. But Lily goes out and puts those shows on, but also she promotes those shows. Now I promote stuff through Facebook and through this lovely show that we're all listening to right now. I don't know if I'm listening to it. I'm more doing it than listening to it. But I guess I have to listen to it as well as do it, because when I say things, they go into my ears, which means I'm technically listening as well as talking. But who knows? I don't want to be that guy. But Lily, not only she put those shows out, she produces those shows. Well, producing, what it entails is, making sure the lights are on in the venue, and you've got your performers, and everybody's paid, and you got all your balloons inflated, and the show's going to be amazing. But even crazier, and this is a segment of her show that I've never... look, if I talk about how comedy, you say dying is easy, comedy's hard, and how I talk about how comedy for me was me versus the audience, and sometimes it got a little weird. But if I had to actually go out and tell people about the show, that would be a lot fucking harder for me. They do it in New York. I think I talked about that when I was in New York with Jill. We were walking the streets, and there's guys from like the Cellar and all these comedy clubs. They're comedians who are trying to get stage time. Well, in order to get stage time, one of the trade-offs is they have to walk around in Times Square and on the streets of New York and pass out comps, I was going to say, for people to go and check out the show. So I don't know if they have a code on there that's their name, so then they get credit for every person that they bring in the fucking door. I got no idea. All I know is if I had to do that, I probably never would have been a fucking comedian. I was lucky enough to just get on stage. But if I had to actually flyer and go out and tell people, hey, there's a comedy show, you should really check it out, and talk to strangers on the street like a goddamn carnival barker, because that's fucking weird. You know, stand-up comedy, it's supposed to be something, it's a destination spot. People should want to go there because they want to see comedians. You don't want to bully people in the fucking door because then their attitude is make me laugh, motherfucker, and that's not good for the comedians at all. I mean, I guess some people think that they're getting a deal when they meet some strange guy in the street and he hands them a piece of cardboard to get them free to a comedy show. But a lot of other people, that comes with expectations where they get there and it's free, so they don't fucking think anybody's going to be any good anyway. And they, you know, on the flyer it'll have like a picture of Chris Rock and Jon Stewart. Somebody's like, "Wait, yay, they're going to be there." And then if you're like not a famous comedian, you go up and people are just like, "Oh fuck, who's this guy?" And that it just sets the wrong tone for comedy, in my opinion. And that's why I don't go out so much anymore. I should. We all know that. But you know, and I guess, count myself lucky that I can just get on a stage and not have to fucking flyer the whole thing. You know, when I was doing the live stuff in theaters, I was going to Brown Paper Tickets and setting that up and setting up my Facebook stuff and then tweeting about it. And even that seems exhausting. I'm not going to lie to you, man. I just want people to show up and go, wow, you are great. And I'd go, yes, I'm great. And then we all go have chicken wings after the fucking show. That's what I want. I don't have to trick people to come in the fucking door and then try to prove that I'm great so they stay there. That's the whole deal. It's like you're tricking people to get in the door with these flyers, and when they get in, you've got to really deliver the goods, or else they're just going to fucking bail, because you know what? They have nothing risked. They got in for free. Except for the fucking 2 drink. And I mean, dude, fucking people are going to drink no matter what, whether you're up on a stage in front of them talking or not. So I guess I should count myself lucky that I don't have to do that for comedy, but Lily has to do it for her shows, man. She goes out flyering. I don't even know where she goes. Does she go to like barbershops or police stations and fucking hand them cardboard? I don't know, but she puts out stacks of flyers. How many times you go to a coffee house or a barbershop or somewhere in fucking LA and you'll see a stack of people going, hey, come and see my acoustic set, or come and see me do this poetry reading. Well, she has to do that for her fucking burlesque show. And now, granted, I got to think a handful of flyers that says, come see these naked chicks is a lot more desirable than the one that says, hey, come see my acoustic set in a coffee house. Because I've been in a coffee house and I've sat there in an acoustic set and it's made me want to get a flask. I mean, I don't fucking know how you can do it. You're up there wailing Jason Mraz songs and making sure your head is just so. But I mean, that's fine. Commit yourself to it and that's great. But Lily, she has to drum up fucking people to come to her shows, and she has to put them on Facebook, and she pays Facebook, I think, to run ads. And oh my Christ, I just talk. That's all I do. And you know, does it show in my efforts? Probably. Could I probably get more people if I went ahead and really kind of put my nose to the grindstone? Yes, and I'm going to. That's on the agenda for 2015. There's so many plans, folks. As soon as I dig out from the mountain of things from 2013 that I haven't done, man, I cannot wait to tackle 2015 head on. As soon as I get done with 2013, and then maybe I'll get to 2014. Should I just, you know what, maybe I should just wipe off. I should just write off 2014. Maybe I do that. I just plunge forward from 2013 into 2015, and we'll get to 2014 and maybe 2017, right? Can I just take these years out of order and tackle them the way I want to? I think I should. So the best laid plans had me coming back to town because I have things to do. Let me tell you this story, folks. Just before I left for Wisconsin last week, I don't know if I mentioned this on the show last week, I was working, and look, stop me if you've heard this before, and so that means you're going to stop me. Dudes, I was driving the last shift and I was always so excited. Things were looking good. I was doing okay at work. I was coming here to be with Jill and watch the Super Bowl and hang out. We had plans. And on Tuesday, we're going to be in Chicago, and I think I told you all about how that went, right? We had a hot tub incident. And that's still trying to be taken care of. Her phone works. Let me update you on that. Her phone works. It's just that, you know, the screen is fucking destroyed. So I have to file an insurance claim because we got it through AT&T. We went to the Apple store to see if they would just fix the screen because it said it was $109. They said, we'll do that unless there's water damage in the phone. And we're like, well, the phone is working. They go, well, it might be working even with water damage. And so the genius took it into the back, and she came back out and said, yeah, there's water damage. It's $300. And we said, we will file an insurance claim and get a new phone. Thank you for your time. Luckily, though, we were able to hook it up to the computer and get all of her photos and all of her contacts and stuff off of it, which helps. And she's using it now. It's okay. Like I said, it's running. It's just a matter of having to fucking take it in and get the screen fixed and all that kind of stuff. So that's what happened last Tuesday. But just before that happened, you know, I was excited to come here. We were going to spend the time in Chicago, and then we're going to Super Bowl and be together. But I was working my last shift in LA before I split, and this is not even a joke, man. Like in the first hour of the last shift, and I'm excited because I'm gonna get home. I'm getting a ride to the airport in the morning from our good friend Erica. But dudes, the engine light in my car came on. No, I don't. I don't know what to do. I just don't. I mean, I know what to do. I got to get it fucking fixed because I have no choice. The car is my livelihood. Even if I wasn't fucking Joe Ribs, even if I wasn't Travis Barbecue, my car would still be my livelihood because even if I was auditioning, I would still need to get to those auditions. You can't fucking do anything in Los Angeles without a car. You can't. Even if it's going to the fucking store for yogurt. I mean, I can't live without it. I mean, sure, when Jill comes out there, she's going to live without a car. She's already informed me of that. I think I mentioned that in here. She's like, I'm not driving in LA, you know that. And I go, no, you'll get used to it. She's like, no, I'm really not driving when I move here. I said, but you have to. She's like, no, get me a bike, do something. She goes, you can drive me anywhere. And look, I don't mind driving her places, but I even tried to get her to practice like she was my daughter or something. Look, we'll just go to a parking lot and you can drive around. She's like, well, that's not going to help with fucking traffic. She's like not scared of driving. She just doesn't want to fucking drive on the street. Because it is overwhelmingly big. I mean, she's lived in a small town in Wisconsin forever. I mean, granted, she's gone to Milwaukee and places like that, but I mean, it's when you get to LA, it's a whole different fucking animal. The other day, she and I went to a Green Bay Gamblers hockey game. Yes, I know, hold your excitement. But her friends, Dina and John, have season tickets, and they asked us to go, and so we were like, fuck yeah. And they're actually sponsoring a kid on the team, Dina and John. They let this kid. Like I guess junior hockey. I'm starting to read more about it. It's fucking weird. Like these kids are 18 and then they go live with these host families and they play in the minors before they go to college or to actual minor league hockey. But it is junior league hockey, I guess. I can't figure it out. Like there's a guy who was playing on one of the teams who was drafted by the Blackhawks, but he's playing for this team and then he's going to Nebraska but then the Hawks own his rights, even though he gets to play in this one league and I think they get paid. I don't fucking know. All I know is it just seems like a violation of labor laws, like child labor laws for these kids to be playing minor league hockey and then going off to school and they have to live with these people and I don't fucking know. Maybe they get bonuses. I have no idea. All I know is Dina and John are nice and they had season tickets and we said, yes, we're going. So, God, what the fuck was the point of this story? So Saturday we went to the game and dudes, I totally lost the point of the story. Oh, Jill driving. We were coming back from Green Bay, and I'm driving the car, and she's fucking wiped out because she's been up all day, and then she's got to work when we get home, and her schedule is crazy. She's a fucking badass, but dude, she's got to sleep. Tell her, do me a favor, write her on her Facebook page and go, Jill, you got to sleep, or write her personal notes, don't write her on her Facebook page, because there are enough people that she knows who don't know who you guys are. So then when all these fucking strangers start writing, Jill, you need to sleep, Jill, you need to sleep, all these other people are going to go, who the fuck are these strangers who are telling you need to sleep? Why would they know this about you? So don't do that. But write it on the Joker's page. Let's do that. On the Joker's page, tell Jill she needs to fucking sleep because she is just constantly on the go. And you know when she sleeps? When she's with me. And it's so funny. We'll be on the couch and she'll sleep for like 6 or 7 hours with me on the couch, like her legs across my lap, or just I'll lay next to her on the couch, and she winds up waking up and she'll apologize. She's like, "I'm sorry, I'm sleeping," and I'm like, "Why?" Dude, this is when you should be sleeping. First, you should be sleeping all the fucking time. You should sleep like a normal person. Your job schedule is freaky, and then you got to run around, and look, she's got kids and stuff. But she's always apologizing to me about sleeping, and I'm like, dude, this is what I want you to do. I just want you to relax. That's all I want. I don't care. I mean, I'm with you under a blanket. Your legs are on me. I get to rub your stomach and hold your hand, and I'm fine, man. I'm happy. I love you. I want you to relax, and I want you to rest. That's the key. Because, I mean, dude, I've been with her when she's slept 2 hours out of 40, and it's fucking horrible. I mean, she's functioning, she's making it work, and she's able to do it but she'll say, I'm used to it. It's like, dude, nobody should be used to sleeping 2 out of 40 hours and still doing stuff. I mean, that's like Nazi death camp stuff. Seriously, that sounds like an experiment that Dr. Mengele did. He's like, all right, let's keep these Jews up for fucking 38 hours and then give them 2 hours of fucking work to do. I mean, it's just insane. So I tell her all the time, just go ahead and sleep. I got no problem with that. So we were coming home from the hockey game, and it was late, and she was going to have to go to fucking work when we got home. But then we're driving, and dude, there was nobody on the street, like nobody at all. And I'm driving on the freeway. It's just a 2-lane highway, but there's nobody. We're cruising. And at one point, she wakes up. She's like, I'm sorry, I'm sleeping. I'm like, dude, don't be sorry. You need to get some sleep before you head to fucking work. And she's like, yeah, the weather's going to hit here, but at least it's kind of clear. I go, dude, think about LA. I go, you've been with me on the road in LA at 1:30 in the morning. There's like 40% of the highway is filled with cars. I mean, it's still constantly. There's never a time in LA when there aren't cars on the freeway. But this time I'm heading home from Green Bay to where she lives, and I mean, the only thing you're doing is hoping that a deer doesn't leap out and try to fucking fight the car. Honestly, that's the only hazard. You see one car or a truck periodically, but fuck. I mean, there's nothing out here, ever. So, I mean, it's fine. But she always tells me, she's like, I'm not going to drive when I get to LA. And I'm like, well, all right. And then when she comes out to me, I'll even say, hey, you want to drive to the store? She's like, no. She's serious, man. Nope, I don't want to drive out here. I'm not going to. I don't know if she's just intimidated or just deciding, you know what, I've done enough driving in my life and I don't want to compete with these motherfuckers. And also, she drives with me and she doesn't think much of my driving. I'll tell you that. I'll be driving and she tells me to speed up or tells me to slow down or tells me to get in another lane and tells me when I back the car into the garage, she's like, hey, you got to do it differently. Can you get out on the other side? And it's, what's funny is like, I won't lie. It gets in my fucking head sometimes where I'm just driving. I'm just driving the car here. That's all I'm doing. But, again, I've said this before. She's very much like me. Because I used to do that shit all the time when I'd be in the passenger seat and I'd be kind of going back and forth. Like when my ex-wife would be driving, I would wonder why she wasn't switching lanes or why she wasn't going faster. I do it to Erica. I'm like, Erica, you need to move in this lane. I'll get over to this lane. You're going to be moving. You're going to be exiting here. Get over. And so when I do it, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just trying to make this person a better driver or get where we're going more efficiently. But when Jill does it and I'm driving, I'm just like, hey, I'm a good driver. I don't know why you're saying this to me. I mean, I'm okay. We're going to get there. It's going to be fine. But I be quiet and I just drive because, that's what I do. But at the same time, I smile to myself because I go, you know what, dude, this is what you would do. This is your payment. This is your fucking comeuppance because this is exactly what you've done your whole life. And now you're driving and you're the one getting told to switch lanes or speed up or slow down or why would you turn there or why are you going here? And yeah, so fucking suck on that, pal. You've been doing this forever and now you got to fucking deal with it on your end. And I'll tell you this much, folks. Comeuppance sucks. I'm not a fan. No, I don't. I want to continue to be handled with kid gloves and have everybody intimidated and scared of me. That was really neat when that happened. When I was able to be the guy who controlled everything. But now, when I try to relax and not be mad or angry, and I try to change who I am, then I have to be getting comeuppance. Fuck comeuppance. That's not fun. Nobody likes comeuppance. I got to tell you, comeuppance fucking blows. So I drove the other day and traffic was light, and then that night a storm hit here in Wisconsin, and it was crazy, and it was blowing in our face, and the wind was whipping around, and it snowed all night on Saturday, and then it snowed all day on Sunday, and there was wind and craziness. And we got probably I think we got 14 inches of snow where I am. At least that's what it looked like when I went outside and I took a ruler and jammed it into the snow. The ruler got lost, so I can't speak to the exact numbers, but I do know there was a huge storm on Saturday night and Sunday, and then also it snowed Sunday night and blew around into. They basically shut the fucking place down. Chicago did the same thing. Chicago got beaten up. It was their 5th worst snowstorm in history, I suppose. But up here it was bad, not that bad, but still they shut the city down. So they didn't plow roads, they didn't do anything because they wanted to wait for the storm to be over and then tackle it that way because they felt they'd just be chasing their own fucking tail if they went out and tried to do it while it was falling, which is good for the city and good for the plow guys, but not so good for people who had to fucking drive in the middle of the night like my girlfriend did, and she had to go out and drive at 4 a.m. and blowing fucking snow with 1-lane highways, and I'm not a fan. Get out there and fucking clean the roads. It's your job. So Sunday was bad, and then Monday it was they sort of cleared the streets and stuff, but for some reason they can clear streets and they can clear alleys and they can plow and salt, but you know who they can't fix? They can't fix the airports. I found out. This happened to me on my previous trip here. I don't know if I talked about it on the air here, but one time I had a flight leaving Milwaukee, and it was like a 6:00 p.m. flight. It was going to get me to Chicago by 6:45, and then I was leaving from Chicago at 7:45. And then I got to the airport, and they're like, oh, yeah, that you're never going to make your connecting flight. I said, so what do I do? And they go, well, we're taking people in buses to O'Hare. And I looked at the guy and I'm like, are you serious? He goes, yeah, it's easy. Just go out and around the corner and get on the bus, and the bus will take you to O'Hare and you'll make it in time for the flight. I go, what if we don't? What if there's traffic? He goes, no, you will. And I go, but yeah, but what if we don't? He goes, no, they'll handle that at O'Hare. Because basically this motherfucker just wanted me out of the airport. He didn't want to deal with me. He didn't want to answer any questions. They wanted to get everybody onto a goddamn bus and get them out on the freeway. And basically, they would be O'Hare's problem once he got there. And that drives me fucking crazy. I don't want to get on a bus. I bought a fucking plane ticket. If I wanted a bus ticket, I would have bought a bus ticket. But instead I bought a fucking plane ticket. And now you're putting me on a goddamn bus. And I never called to complain. I should have, now that I think about it. I should have called up and fucking really complained. But again, I'm changing things. I'm trying to be a different guy. But I was shafted there, right? If I bought a plane ticket and you throw me on a bus, that's not the fucking same. Even though it might be the same, I guess, flying time. Although the bus didn't fly, although I wouldn't know, I fucking slept. I don't care, who cares? But the point is, this time around, I even woke up, I told Jill, I said, honestly, they're going to put me on a bus again. I guarantee it because, Milwaukee was fucked, but Chicago was really fucked. So this time I signed up for texting alerts from American Airlines because I don't know if you know this, I'm a gold level flyer on American Airlines. And so all of that stuff is available to me. It may be available to non-gold level flyers, but I wouldn't know because I only deal in the realm of the gold level flyer. So I knew there were text alerts where I could sign up and they could tell me about the storm and when my flights were connecting and everything was on time because I'll tell you this, Sunday night, late, it said everything was on time and that didn't make any fucking sense because this city was paralyzed and getting to Milwaukee was going to be a fucking jaunt. So I was like, maybe we'll see. So all day Monday, they told me I was on time, everything was going to be fine, and then I had signed up for texting alerts throughout the day, but especially for 3 hours before the flight. Because Jill was going to have to take me to where 2 hours before the flight because I figured the airport was going to be a fucking zoo and I would have to get there early. Even though the Milwaukee airport is always a fucking ghost town, I wanted to get there early just in case. And then sure enough, 3 hours before the flight, it came in and said everything was on time on my phone. And Jill was like, that doesn't make any sense. I go, yeah, I know, it doesn't. But whatever, it's fine. So she got up and she went to go jump in the shower. And as she was getting to go to the shower, I got another text that said my flight was delayed by an hour and 15 minutes. I was supposed to be leaving at 6:45, but now it would be leaving at 7:30. So it was delayed by 45 minutes. And my connecting flight from, and here's another thing, I was connecting through fucking Chicago. So that's why I was like, this makes no sense that everything's on time because Chicago is buried right now. Again, worst fucking snowstorm in years. And I don't know how you think we're going to get out of there on time. You're pretending that we are with your texts and your bullshit. But again, it's all nonsense. It's a robot. You can't trust the robots. So I waited, and a text came in and said it was like 45 minutes late. And it said I would be getting into Chicago at 8:24. My flight from Chicago to LA was at 8:25. And they were saying that that was still on time. Fuck, dude, how hard is it to just tell me it's not on time? We know it's not on time. I'm not stupid. You're not going to trick me into coming to the airport and tell me what, I got to sleep on the fucking floor? Just tell me it's not on time. I will cooperate with you. So then another thing came where my flight was delayed by even longer and I was going to miss it completely and the connecting flight was still on time. So I just called American and I was like, fuck this. I talked to the woman, Jacqueline, and I said, I'm sure you guys are getting murdered on the phone. She goes, yes, we are. I said, all right, well, I have a solution for you. I said, it turns out that I'm not going to make my connecting flight tomorrow. Or tonight? What does tomorrow look like? She goes, tomorrow is really bad because all of the people that are kind of missing flights today and yesterday are getting back on flights on Tuesday, and so the flights are full and moving you you might be able to fly, but I'm not sure about your connecting flight. We can maybe connect you through Dallas, but even they're having problems. And just, again, snowstorms are fucking brutal. They fuck the airlines over, and that winds up fucking the passengers, and the airlines don't really care. And they try to help, but they don't really help because they wind up just shoving as many people as they can into the plane. Everybody's grumpy and pissed off. It's just brutal. So I said to her, well, when do you think it's going to clear up? She goes, well, probably by Wednesday night. Now, here's the thing. Like I said, my work has been monkeying with my fucking schedule, and I'm already off on Tuesday and Wednesday anyway. And believe me, I don't need an excuse to stay with Jill. It's like, this was a fucking red carpet. I was like, oh, wait a minute. So I get to stay here with my girlfriend for 2 more days and fucking just lay around in bed? I'm in. Fuck that. So I said, Jacqueline, here's the plan. Why don't you just put me on a Thursday flight? And she said, seriously? I said, yes. I said, because, you guys are fucking hammered. Tonight I'm never going to make it. You're hammered all day Tuesday. You might get me on a flight on Wednesday. So why don't we just take that extra day cushion? Because I happen to have it through work, and I'll leave Thursday. But the only thing is I have to be in LA by like 1 or 2 in the afternoon. She starts clicking fucking keys. And she just goes, yeah, okay. And I said, and I'd prefer to connect through Chicago rather than Dallas. She said, all right. And she goes, all right, well, I got you on a flight leaving Milwaukee at 9:35. You'll get to Chicago by 10:30. You'll leave Chicago at 11:30. You'll get to LA by 2. I said, fucking done. Book it. I said, I need seats on the right-hand side of the plane by the window. She goes, well, you're a gold level flyer. I see your preference right here. Let's go ahead and put you in 8D and 10F. So I'm in an exit row on the way to Chicago, which doesn't matter. That flight's fucking 9 minutes. And then I'm in 10F on the way to LA. And I said, done. That's what I want. And so I am in Milwaukee or Wisconsin or wherever the fuck I am. All I know is I'm buried. I got 14 inches of snow surrounding me and I am freezing. I'm in a hoodie. You know, we get the heat turned down in this house. That's the way it works. It's now an igloo on the outside and an igloo on the inside. So the inside matches the outside. That's good news. But I'm coming to you live via podcasting, via phone from Wisconsin. So I thought I'd be back in California. I should be back in California because I don't know if I mentioned this earlier. And by that, I mean, I do know I mentioned this earlier. Before I fucking flew, my engine light came on. So I was going to be getting my car fixed over these 2 days off because I have to work on Thursday night. Now, I will instead just kind of hope that the car lasts that shift and then I can fix it sometime on Friday, I guess, or Saturday or sometime. I don't know. It's going to have to get fixed and considering I don't have any idea what the fuck is wrong with it, it's just an engine light and I have to find a mechanic that I got to take it to. Did I talk about this last week? I don't know, folks. It's all a goddamn blur. All I know is my engine light came on again and I got to take it in and get it fucking fixed and I got to figure it out. But now, thanks to American Airlines and snow, I won't be bringing it in until Thursday or Friday. But again, that's fine because I just get to stay here with Jill and hide under the covers and hope everything turns out fine. Hide under the coats, if you will, and hope that the rest of my life turns out fine. I don't know about the rest of my life, but I'm hoping that things go well. But last week we took a respite. I stopped talking about basketball for a week, and you folks had some opinions on that. You're very nice and you're very vocal, and you write me and you're like, "Yay! I'm glad we took a break from that." And some of you were like, "God damn it! I wanted to hear the end of that story this week." And those people are always nice. I don't know why you would type that and hit send, but good for you. And I guess they weren't really mean. You know, there are people who are fans of the show, and they write me as if they know me. So they kind of chide me, like, "Hey, why would you do that? What are you thinking, man?" And I'm here to tell you, Mark, that I was thinking that I was talking, and I kind of got caught up in talking about what had happened the day before, and I decided why, you know. And I will tell you this. This is truthful. If I had been at Lily's place recording, I probably would have finished basketball last week, even with telling you about what had happened the day before, because it's easier to record the show sitting in the room with Lily and talking and being able to kind of stop and stuff. But dude, just recording on the phone, the show last week was 2 hours on the phone and I didn't talk about basketball. If I had gotten into basketball, we're pushing, another 2.5 hours, certainly 2 hours and 45 minutes. And to talk like that into your phone by yourself is just fucking psychotic. So, and that's on me. And, if I would have just started baseball here at the beginning here, instead of telling you about being snowed in and where the fuck I am, probably we would have gotten to it. It would have been over by now. But let's do it now, right? We can do that, right? As I ask right again 4 times. When I'm with Lily, I say right to her. And I guess she's answering. But when I say right to you guys, whatever the fuck, we talked about this 3 weeks ago. Stop! I'm mad at myself. When last we left the set of basketball, I was wearing my Dallas Felons clothes, my Dallas Felons costume, my Dallas Felons outfit. And I had been told by Michael Siegel that there was a possibility they would be using me in a bit where I would never miss a shot. That was going to be the hook of my character. I was, of course, because I was the crazy fat guy, that was funny enough. But then the fact that I was an incredible athlete who had never missed a shot in basketball, that was going to be funny on top of funny. Certainly. And I think we're all looking for a stack of funny, right? Don't we want to have a huge Neapolitan of funny directly in front of us with whipped cream and berries? I think we do. So he told me, he's like, "Be ready, man. Get out there and be ready. Shoot and then practice." And I was practicing, and me and Matt Sloan, who played Darcy, we were out there, and he was rebounding for me, and he would shoot, I'd rebound for him, and I wasn't just like a crazy. But I don't want to. Now that I think about it, as I listened to the shows the past few weeks, I made it sound like the entire production stopped down for me to practice my shot, and everybody helped me by rebounding. That was not the case. All right, we were all out there shooting around. I was practicing shooting, but I'd also rebound for other people and do what I could to hit the shots that I could, and trying to make my two-handed fucking shot look normal, and at least make a few. So then the Zuckers approached me, and they said I wanted to be ready, but I was not ready. I absolutely was not ready. And then the Zuckers approached me, and they said, "So we had an idea," and I immediately said, "I'm ready," even though I clearly was not. But I don't fucking care. So they pitched me the idea, and by pitch me, I mean they told me what the fuck to do. I don't want to pretend like the Zuckers I had any input whatsoever. They were like, "Here's what you're going to do." It wasn't like, "Hey, man," it wasn't a collaborative effort. They weren't like, "Hey, Mike, here's what we think you should do. Maybe if you did this." No, fuck that. They told me what they wanted me to do, and they said, "We're going to let you shoot. We're going to have you shoot from all the different basketball spaces, and we're going to film you." and we're just going to film like a montage of you hitting shots, and that will make it into the movie. That's why then people will get the illusion that you're the best basketball player ever. And I said, great. And David Zucker was like, can you do this? And I said, yes, of course I can. And he goes, all right, we're going to film you shooting. And, obviously we want you to make them as much as you can. Because the bit is dependent on you looking realistic and making the shots. And what's funny to me is in my head, I guess I was looking for an easy way because I'm like, well, can't you just film me shooting and then dummy up the results, show the ball going to the basket? But that's not going to fucking work because then in a movie you keep cutting away to the ball going to the hoop and then cutting to me. You know I'm not making the fucking shots. And you know what the real tip-off is that I'm not making the shots? Dude, if they film me shooting and you see my horrible fucking form where my right hand is fine but my left hand is basically playing defense against the rest of my body, they're going to know for sure that I wasn't fucking hitting the shots. Which to me, I guess kind of pings almost funnier. Like you can see how terrible I am. Like I have this awful form. There's a guy in the NBA, his name's Joakim Noah, and he plays for the Bulls. Joakim? I think it's Joakim Noah. He plays for the Bulls, and dude, Google him right now, and go to fucking look at his shot. His jump shot is the ugliest fucking shot in the world, but he makes them periodically. That's kind of like me. It wasn't even a jump shot. Like, it's not like I'm leaving my feet. I'm not a gunner. I'm not fucking Stephen Curry. I'm not even Del Curry. For fuck's sake. I'm not even Del Shannon. I'm more Del Shannon than Del Curry, because when people see me shoot, they want to run away. Yes! God damn it, that was awesome. And that's a reference from 1950. So yeah, man, I'm just terrible. But I'm willing to try to do it. I want to do it as best as I can, and I've been kind of practicing. I can Jimmy rig a shot and make it look like I know what I'm doing. It's just the making part is going to be a problem. So they're like, can you do this? I said, yeah. So they go, all right, we're going to rehearse. So let's figure out what we're going to do. You're just going to hit some shots. We're going to kind of follow you around, and you just start doing it, and let's get a feel for it. Now that was a crusher, because if you just start filming me, maybe they go, well, okay, this works, and we can fuck it up later, and we'll fix it in post. But if they want to see me do it, that means they want to make sure that I know how to shoot. And if I don't fucking do this in rehearsal, I know they're not going to make me do the bit. And I can tell you this, I hear them talking. They really want to do this bit. They really want it to work. Because and I don't know why, I find out later why, but to them, it's kind of important that this bit works. So they say to me, we really want you to do this. I said, okay, great. So they start feeding me the ball, and I start shooting, because the basketball, there's different places you can shoot from. There's top of the key, essentially. There's corner jumpers. There's jumpers from the wing. There's layups. You're close. You have to shoot from certain bases. Look, I'm not going to explain the rules of fucking basketball because they're ludicrous. Watch the movie and figure it out, or Google it and check it out. Go to Wiki and read about it. So they give me the ball, and my first shot's from like top of the key. And I'm nervous because I know I'm not good at basketball, and I'm truly not good at basketball. But all I got to do is look good. The making of it, I figured they could fix later. But as long as I look good and I have decent form, I'm okay. So they give me the ball and I shoot. And first shot in the air, release, rotation. They like to say splash when it's all net. All right. Craig Kilborn used to say release, rotation, splash. And it's because a guy would shoot and it would go through, touching nothing but net. Mine was release, rotation, smash. I mean, at least I'm drawing iron. I'm shooting and I'm drawing iron. I'm hitting the rim. I'm hitting the back of the rim. I'm not shooting air balls. I'm not banking the ball off the window. I'm not that guy, but I'm not making shots. I'm clanking pretty much everything. And I don't have a hand in my face. Nobody's guarding me. Well, actually, I do have a hand in my face. My fucking left hand is doing everything it can to make sure I don't shoot. And as I move from spot to spot, I'm probably making 1 out of every 6 shots, because they are making me shoot at every spot until I make one. And it takes me 8 to make them from the top of the key. I move over and I hit like 1 out of 3 from the wing, which is good. And then I get into a corner jumper and I actually hit the first one, which made me happy. But then I go to the other corner jumper and I miss, like I'm 1 for 10. I mean, it's just, and I can kind of see them. And dudes, it's no fun doing that in the middle of a game with your friends, because your friends will talk trash. Imagine doing it with Hollywood directors and writers standing around watching you. An entire stadium of people also is watching you. Like I'm fucking clanking them, and they just got their arms crossed, and they're not saying good job or nice or any. Dude, they're just watching. And I have a weird enough time with people watching me do things I'm good at. But now you're going to watch me fucking shoot hoops in a Dallas Felons costume, and I'm all fat and weird looking, and I'm shooting and missing, and I'm just getting fucking kind of hyped and weird and nervous. And the Zuckers, I see them looking at me, and they're kind of crestfallen a little bit, and they go, okay, hold up. And they make me stop. And they have a little conference. And it's the Zuckers, and I'm assuming it's Jerry Abrams, but I mean, it's a guy in a hat who was there every day. But honestly, I was never introduced to him. I assume it was Jerry Abrams. And they start talking, and Mike Siegel comes over to me, Michael Siegel, a different Mike Siegel, and he's like, oh, relax, you did great. I'm like, no, I didn't. I was terrible, and I know I was. And he goes, well, don't worry about it. They'll talk about it. I go, well, look, I told you, if I can shoot one-handed, I'm actually better than I am two-handed. He goes, yeah, but that's not going to work. They want you to shoot like a basketball player. And I go, but just tell them. If you just tell them I can shoot one-handed. He goes, well, hold on. Let's see what they say. And so I'm standing there dribbling, and they talk for about 6 minutes, which isn't fucking awkward at all, as I stand there waiting for them to pass judgment on my career as a basketball player and an actor. And I'm waiting. Michael Siegel walks away from me. Matt looks at me and just kind of nods. And then the Zuckers come over, and they go, yeah, man, that was pretty rough. And I go, I know, I'm not, And they go, well, we're going to move on, and we'll maybe think about it. And I go, wait. And they're like, what? And I go, well, I don't want you to think I can't do this. And they go, well, we kind of just saw you can't do it. And it was shitty, mean, but that's okay. I understood it. And I go, wait, listen to me. And Michael Siegel comes over, and he's like, all right, well, no problem. He goes, maybe we can revisit it. And I go, no, hold on. And I said, Mr. Zucker, because I didn't want to call him David. And he's like, yeah. And I go, listen, I can shoot much better one-handed. And there's silence, and then Jerry Zucker laughs, which is weird. And David Zucker's looking at me, and he goes, what are you talking about? I go, it's weird. Like, when I would play, I would shoot one-handed. I mean, I used to play with a ball that I could palm, and it was easier for me to shoot it one-handed. And I can palm a basketball, but I can't pick it up off the dribble and shoot. But I just get a better rotation because it seems like my left hand fights my right hand. And now I'm trying to explain my basketball shooting ability to fucking David and Jerry Zucker as they fucking stare at me. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Listen to me. Trust me on this. And David Zucker goes, well, like a hook shot? And I said, no, it's just imagine if you were shooting a jumper, but you didn't use your left hand as the guide hand. And he goes, well, let me see. He goes, I want you to do it from the top of the key so we can see where you do it from as far away as you possibly can. And so I go to the top of the key, and now it's on me. Because I actually, now I made it sound like I'm good this way. So, I mean, I was clearly bad the other way. In my mind, if I'm just at least acceptable, it's better than bad. But now I made it, I guess, sounded like I'm good. Because they're like, all right, well, let's get to the top of the key. Let's see it from there because we want to see you do it from distance. And I get to the top of the key, and I dribbled. And I'm looking. Now, I will tell you this difference, too. With the two-handed shot, I'm jumping. I'm actually shooting jumpers, which also might be throwing me off because I'm fat and my equilibrium goes wrong and my head is screwy and my left hand goes into my right hand and that's what throwing the shots off. But on the fucking one-handed shot, I'm flat-footed. Like I don't jump. It's not a jumper. It's literally I don't think I even bend my knees half the time. Max will tell you because he saw me play. It was just ridiculous to watch. So I go top of the key and I dribble the ball a couple of times. And I put it in my right hand and I hold it just in my right hand at like eye level. And I don't know why. It just feels more true when I do it that way. The release point is different. The rotation is different. So I take it, I dribble, I put it up on my hand, and it's just about eye level. And then I flick it with a flick of my wrist toward the basket. Release, rotation, splash. I mean, I don't know if I've ever hit a better shot in my life. People are staring, the Zuckers are staring. It was all on me at that fucking moment. And I fucking flicked my wrist and swished it from the top of the key. And the best part was the audience was kind of watching me, like they were the extras and they were milling about and they weren't shooting, so they were just kind of hanging out. So when I hit that fucking shot, this pocket of extras just goes, yeah! They started cheering and whistling and clapping as if I was really playing, as if we were filming.
And I think it was a derisive cheer, certainly, because they'd seen me missing all over the goddamn floor 10 minutes earlier. But now I take one shot, one-handed, and I fucking swish it from the top of the key. And Zucker just goes, wow. And I said, yeah. I go, I'm not going to hit all of them, but it just feels better for me to shoot like that. He goes, do it again. I said, what? He goes, do it again. So I shot from the top of the key, and this time I hit front iron, and it kicked off the window and went through. So I made 2 in a row. But it was better. I was getting more length on the shot, and it was more true because I was able to line up the rim rather than pushing to the right as my left hand would always do on my shots. I was able to control where it was going. So he laughs. David Zucker laughs after I hit the second one, and he goes, all right, well, let's try this again. And they had me shoot from all over the floor, and I was shooting one-handed. And look, I'm not good, and I'm not going to tell you that I filled it up, but I will tell you this. I probably hit, I was hitting maybe 20% of my shots before. I was probably hitting 40% of my shots this time around. I actually doubled my shooting percentage, and it's not good. Certainly, it's terrible. But it was much better than I had been doing. And the best part is every time I would hit a shot, the fucking extras would go, yeah! Like they would fucking cheer. I don't know if they adopted me because I was the fat guy. I find that a lot. Whenever I'm doing anything as the fat guy, or, like on Wheel of Fortune or any show, if I show any sort of personality, or if I'm just kind of gregarious or just a big fat dude, people for some reason want to side with me. So when I would hit a shot, they would go crazy. And then when I'd miss, they'd go, oh! It was fucking awesome. They didn't give a shit when I was missing a ton of shots, but then when I started shooting, I don't know if they figured out that I was doing it one-handed and it was different. I have no fucking idea, but all of a sudden, I win the crowd over. And I have to think that that was also in the Zuckers' minds, because they saw that somehow I had engendered a reaction in people. I had made them root for me. I made them want me to hit shots. And so then they were wanting me to hit shots. They weren't looking at me in this curious way of, oh, this is bullshit, or let's hope he can fucking do it. They actually started rooting for me too. So like, David Zucker would rebound and he would kick the ball to me, and I would fucking shoot, and they were cheering. It was fucking fantastic. And such a difference from what had happened when I fucked up the hat gag. Like, to the point where I'm wondering if they even remembered I was the hat dude. They must have, right? That's why they fucking freaked out and were like, oh, I wonder if he can do this. But it was such a sea change in the atmosphere where, I could see Matt kind of smiling at me, and I was hitting, and again, like I said, I wasn't good. I'm hitting 40% of my shots, but everyone that would go in, people would cheer, so it made it look like I was fucking gunning, like I was awesome. All of a sudden, I was fucking Kyle Korver out there fucking smoking everybody. It was genius. So, and by the way, I was Kyle Korver before Kyle Korver was even invented, or he might have been a college dude at that point. That's how deep I go for that reference. Although now he's the three-point king, but back then I certainly, if I would have said right back then, dudes, look at me, check me out, I'm Kyle Korver, it would have been fucking amazing. So I probably shot another like 30 shots shooting around, and they were like, okay, cool. And they stopped and they go, hang tight, and they went to talk. And Michael Siegel comes over. Michael Siegel, who had told me basically that it was over. He looks at me and he goes, wow, that was great. I go, I told you I could shoot better one-handed. He goes, well, yeah, I'm glad they saw that. I go, well, yeah, but Michael, I wanted you to tell them that. He goes, well, I'm glad you spoke up, because, Michael's job was just to fucking facilitate. He wasn't there to fucking speak up on my behalf, but I made him look good because he found me and I had fucked up that one joke, and now it looked like I could do this. So they set it up, and they started to set up the cameras, and they told me, you know what, just do what you did. And he came over to explain to me the deal was Grunsky had never missed. And so I was going to shoot and make shots, and they were going to film a montage of me hitting all over the field. So they came out and they set up the cameras, and we set up the teams, and it was against different teams too. It wasn't just against the Beers. It was against the Miami Felons, or no, I'm sorry, the Dallas Felons, and the Miami Tron, whatever the fuck the teams' names were. But I just kept hitting on other teams, and that was the hook, is that I was going to hit shots, and they wanted to just film me hitting shots, and I only had to shoot. They said, just keep shooting, and we'll keep filming, and then whatever you make is what they'll keep. So that was the movie magic part of it. They had to see me hitting shots and make sure that I could hit shots. But then they would go ahead and dummy it up in post. I didn't have to make 30 in a fucking row. They could make it look like I hit 30 in a row. It's just I had to score a certain amount against certain teams. Like I would shoot against certain teams, and they would run them out and run other teams in, and I would shoot against those teams. And the whole point was I was going to keep shooting. And then
they were talking about the bit, and they were like, well, what should we have him do? Should he shoot from here? And they were talking about having me shoot from like the dugout and having me shoot from the stands, and they were kind of pitching jokes back and forth. And they were like, well, just keep shooting. And they were filming me, and I'm shooting, and I'm hitting. And again, I probably hit about 40%. And I got to be honest, I think the one-handed thing made it look even better because it just looks sillier. Because not only does he not ever miss, but he also shoots one-handed. It just made it like fucking even better. I whatever, as a movie guy and also as me, I was just fucking happy that I could do what I was comfortable with. But I thought it made it even look fucking funnier that I was able to shoot one-handed and drain him. So I'm hitting, and they kept running different teams out and doing all that stuff. And Zucker was like, all right, should we have him just keep hitting and keep hitting? And they started debating back and forth, and they came over to me and they go, all right, we're just going to keep shooting, and then we're going to try to figure out a way out for this. And I said, okay. I go, what if I collapsed? And they went, what? Like David Zucker looked at me and he goes, what? And I said, what if I collapsed? Like, what if I just kept shooting and making shots, and then finally I passed out? And I knew I probably shouldn't be saying this, but I didn't fucking care. I felt all, because the people were cheering and everything was exciting and I was happy and I was getting filmed and I had done it right. So I actually pitched, what if I fell down like at the end? And they started talking about it and they were like, well, yeah, that's funny. And they were like, we talked about that earlier, right? And he goes, yeah, but I wonder if it steps on later. They say, and I don't even know what the fuck they're talking about it. They're going back and forth. And he goes, well, what if we, Abrams pitches to Zucker, he goes, well, what if we had him fall down, but then he gets carried off by like all the other teams? And they just all start cracking up because the thought of a fat guy getting carried around to them is that's the funniest fucking thing in the world. So that was their decision. They were like, yeah, you know what? Yeah. They wanted me to shoot, and then when I was going to collapse, and then they would film me being carried off by different teammates of mine and all the other teams. Like I was just like so unconscious and such a great shooter. I finally passed out, and they fucking had to carry the fat guy off the basketball field, and that's what we filmed. We filmed it from like 6 different angles. Then they had to have 8 guys carry me. They carried me low. They carried me on their shoulders. They carried me high. And I had to just basically pretend like I was napping, like I was passed out, and they had to fucking carry me out. And it was genius. It was almost like, you know what? If you ever see Tommy, when Pinball Wizard, at the end of it, when Elton John falls into the crowd and they carry the shoes out, that's what it was like. They were carrying me out. That's what I kept thinking about every time they would film it. In my head, I'm like, dude, I'm the shoes in Tommy. It's fucking great. And the people would cheer. It was such a fucking sea change. Like I said, it was a fucking 180 from what had happened with the hat gig. The hat gag. And we filmed it, and we filmed for almost 2 hours of me shooting and falling and them carrying me and hitting shots. And I felt like I was in a movie. No more was I just eating egg salad and hiding. No more was I just hoping to be in a shot. No more was I in the background. I was actually in the fucking movie. It was great. So, we filmed some more that day, and then I actually, I'm not involved in the shooting, and I take a break, and Matt was like, dude, that is going to be fantastic. I mean, he goes, you're like the centerpiece of our team. And I'm like, it's pretty amazing. I'm stunned. Because again, when you do these things, I'm just a fucking extra. I'm nobody. Even though I was cast as Grunsky, I'm still nobody. And then I blew that fucking shot with the first gig, or the gag. God damn it, quit saying gig. With the hat thing. And so I thought I was never going to be used again. And then to come through so spectacularly and have people cheering and have it go crazy and not having to worry about business and have the fake shots. I mean, it was just fucking awesome. It was a fucking complete change. So we filmed the rest of the day, and I was fucking cloud 9. I couldn't wait to come back. And I come back to film the next day, and they tell me, you're in the first shot. And I was like, all right, I didn't know what it was. But it turns out the first shot was me, just me. They go, yeah, we thought of a thing. The Zuckers thought of this thing where I was going to be interviewed by Al Michaels and Bob Costas. Now, I should tell you, they're not there. I'm not talking to them, but I'm in a headset. And I guess this was the continuation of me having hit all the shots. And they were going to throw it to, like, here's Grunsky, the all-time great leader, whatever the fuck. I don't know what the gig was. All I know, goddamn, gig again? I don't know what it was, but I do know that they just said, hey, you're going to just stand there and basically look intimidating. So I guess that they were going to be asking me questions, and I was never to answer. Now, I will tell you this. I was a little bummed about that, because it would have been fun to talk and have actual lines and try to be funny or something, but I understand it wasn't the character, and all they wanted was for me to be stoic and just basically like a fucking human wall. And I had a stupid headset on, like, you know, at the end of a game when they throw the weird ear headset with the thing. It's the thing I used to record with at Lily's house. The earbud, the cans with the fucking microphone in front of your mouth, like when broadcasters do that. So that's what they did. They threw that on me, and I was just supposed to stand there, and all they did was film me just staring mean into the camera. I basically did my mom's look. I, you know, just fucking stared mean, flared nostrils, and just as intimidating as I possibly could be, and just stared into the camera. So they set it up where they did a full body shot of it, and then they did in tight on my face. And then they did, for some reason, profile shots. I have no idea why. I don't know if they're going to throw me. It then struck me, like I started to think about what the shots might be, where they'd be throwing me over their shoulders, or was it going to be a camera thing where there were different angles, and as they were trying to talk to me, they couldn't get it right. I was, in your head, you try to shape the bit. So, but all I had to do was just stand there holding a basketball and just looking mean. And apparently Michaels and Costas were going to lob questions at me, and I don't know if they were going to get progressively more scared. I have no fucking clue. All I know is I was just supposed to stand there, and so I did. And that was enough for them. They loved it. They thought it was funny. They loved the fact that I was able to look mean in the camera and just fucking stare and flare my nostrils and look tough, fake tough. And I pulled it off. And that was the first shot of the day, and then the rest of the day was just filming Beers stuff, like Matt and Trey were on set, and I just... And Matt and Trey told me they heard that they came out and they heard that I was funny, and I should make a big deal out of that. We were sitting there, and we were in the dugout, and we were in the Felons dugout, and Matt and Trey were in the Beers dugout, and they were talking to the Zuckers, and then they came over to our dugout, and we were planning on what we were going to shoot. And Matt Stone looked at me, and he goes, "Hey, I heard you were funny today." I said, "Oh, thanks." He goes, "Did you do the interview thing today?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Yeah, we came up with that. That was and he goes, "You did the shooting yesterday?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Yeah, we heard it was really funny." And Trey's like, "Yeah, we heard you did good." And it was like, it wasn't anything elaborate. They weren't like, "You're the fucking best." They were just like, we heard you did good." And dude, that was enough. I mean, come on, Matt and Trey told me I did good. I was like, fucking yes. And I made the Zuckers laugh, and that's all I cared about. That and the fact that I now was part of the movie. I wasn't just a fucking chair. So we set up shots, we shot all day, we hung out, and Matt and I, we went and ate fucking... and I should tell you this, I think I told you, Yasmin Bleeth was just fucking terrible to us the first day. She just got progressively worse. We had to film some scene where she was, we were signing autographs, and she was in the background talking to Trey, and I think I may have talked about that on here already. And she would run away, and she would just go hide in her trailer. Richard Grieco would come to set, and they'd go hide in her trailer because he was banging her at the time, but we just kept eating this fabulous food. It was the greatest time because I had just moved to California. I felt like I was part of a movie. And I do this thing where I don't tell anybody anything. If I'm working on something, I don't tell anybody anything until I know what it is. When you film a TV show or a commercial, you don't go, "Hey, I'm in this," or "Hey, I did great." I just refuse to do it because you never know how it's going to turn out. But now that I'm shooting shots, I'm being interviewed by Costas and Michaels, and I'm actually part of the fucking movie, I'm feeling pretty confident. So I actually told my friends, I told Pat and Russ about it. We went and saw Alien 3 at a theater. I'm like, yeah, dudes, I'm actually in this movie. Like, I'm a part. I'm a guy, and I'm filming, and they were just like, "Dude, that's fucking amazing." I go, "Yeah, I've worked on it for like almost over a month now." So the next day I come in, and we're shooting the final game between the Beers and the Felons. Now, the Beers have never beaten the Felons, and I've never missed, and it all comes together in this. And they take me aside, and they go, "All right, you're in this today. We're going to be filming all day Beers and Felons. So you're just going to be reacting to shots, and we're going to be shooting, and you'll be shooting, and we'll be doing a thing at the end here. But you're in the climactic shot of the scene." I said, "Okay." And they said, "Here's what you're going to do." And they brought Michael Siegel over with me and with Trey. And they said, here's the deal. You've never missed, as you know. We did the montage. You never miss. So, the announcers will hype you up. You were the greatest player, and you're going to come up with the bases loaded. And you've never missed. So they're going to try a psych out on you. And you're going to stand there while they have a meeting to talk about what it's going to be. And then Trey's going to come, and he's going to psych you out, and you're actually going to miss for the first time in your career. I said, "Great." I go, "So what do I do?" They go, "Did you walk up and just do that? Remember how you looked mean in the camera?" I said, "Yeah." And they go, "Just not like that. You're not trying to be intimidating. You're more smug because you've never missed. Just smug it up." And I said, "Okay." And they said, "And then Trey's going to talk to you, and you're going to go to shoot, and you're going to kind of wobble and get psyched out, and then you're going to fall down. You're not even just going to miss the shot. You're going to actually collapse and fall down. And when they told me that, in my head, I went, well, that's going to step on the bit where I collapsed earlier when I was shooting. And that was what they were talking about when he said, is that going to step on later? So I just went, what am I going to say? Hey, that's going to step on the bit. I think you should fuck that. I'm just fucking there to shoot and do what I'm told because I'm part of the movie and I'm happy. So I said, great. So they go, you're going to walk from the on-deck circle, you're going to stand there, and they're going to be in the foreground talking about you, and we'll film it from several different angles. We'll watch you walking up, and they think like the natural. You're approaching because you're the fucking greatest. And I'm like, perfect. So I had the natural music in my head, and I'm in the on-deck circle, and I kept approaching where I was going to shoot from. And they filmed me walking up, and I bounced the balls. They didn't tell me to dribble, but I did. I bounced the balls a few times and got up there, and they had their little discussion, and we filmed the scene probably 6 times from different angles. But this was the scene that like people were waiting for who were going to see the movie because again, Matt and Trey, they do South Park, and so everybody's like, well, is it a South Park movie? Well, no, it's not. It's basketball. But when I got up there, I spun the ball on my finger a couple of times, and then I spun the ball in my hands, and I fucking stared at Trey like, fuck you, man. There's nothing you can do. And then I went to shoot, and I will tell you this. This will be a flaw that you'll notice, but I mean, I'll just tell you in a minute. But Trey was going to do the Cartman voice to me, and I was going to get psyched out because he basically was going to tell me I'm fat, how fat I am, and he's going to do the Cartman voice, and I get freaked out by it, and I go to shoot, and I miss. I totally just fucking sail it, and I fall down. And I'm like, great, I can do that. So I get up there as I walk up, and dudes, because again, the show was just becoming monstrous, and there was something really surreal about having Trey Parker do the Cartman voice in my face at a time when again, it's just like when you see Hank Azaria on a talk show or Seth MacFarlane on a talk show and he does Peter Griffin or Hank Azaria does Apu, and you're just like, Jesus Christ, that's the voices. I mean, and those voices are different because you've grown up with them, but to see Cartman, who it was right now becoming a cultural phenomenon. So to see him right in my face doing that voice, it was crazy. It was something I didn't anticipate. And so it wasn't really that hard for me to look like I was being psyched out because it was neat to see the voice coming out of him. And I just got to pretend like I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I go to fall down. And what was funny is that, because the camera was right in my face. So I had to get the ball over the camera. So every time I would fall down, I would fire the ball into the stands, like over the garage, over the backboard. Like I did my best to fucking pitch it as far as I possibly could, to the point where I wish they were filming me from the back. I think they actually were, but I don't think obviously they didn't use the shot. But I made sure I fucking threw it as far and as hard as I could every single time I did the take. But here's what I will tell you is, and I kept thinking this, and in my head I was like, it's a flaw, but I don't want to tell them that it's a flaw, but who the fuck cares? Nobody's going to notice because everybody's going to hear the Cartman voice and not even care that I'm there. If you look in that final shot, because that shot's in the movie, when I go up to make the shot and the Cartman voice is being done in my face, I'm lining up my shot with 2 hands. Well, in the montage and everything else, I'm shooting with 1 hand. I've only shot with 1 hand the entire film, and I thought that was the hook. But then I go there, and he goes to psych me out, and I've got 2 hands, and then I fire the ball with 2 hands. Now, maybe he psyched me out so much that I used 2 hands to shoot, and it really got in my head. But part of me was like, dude, I should change this to a one-handed shot. But if I had changed it to a one-handed shot, it would have never looked as impressive, me shooting the ball over the backboard or trying to pitch it over the garage, because I would have had to throw it. Because I just flicked my wrist when I would shoot those shots, but to do a 2-handed fucking almost chest pass and fling it over the backboard, I needed 2 hands. But it goes against my character, and my motivation as Grunsky was to hit one-handed shots and be the best in the business. Well, maybe that's why I fucking missed at the end, goddammit. Maybe it wasn't the psycho. Maybe it's the fact that I betrayed my own shooting form and I went with 2 hands instead of 1, and that's why I missed the shot that cost the felons the goddamn game. And that mistake has haunted me for the rest of my basketball career. What could have been my shining moment? I betrayed myself. I got psyched out. Damn it. I psyched myself out. So we kept filming, and every time I would fall, it would get a big laugh because, fat guy falling, always key to any sort of comedy. I actually fell, and I committed to it, dudes. I didn't brace my fall or anything. They put a pad, one of those big, gymnastics pads underneath me. And, but it's still no fun at 440 pounds, whatever the fuck I was. I was probably only 400 at the time. But I mean, I was crashing to the ground. And there was that fucking, so I wouldn't cover my face. I would go face first, and I committed to it every single time. I fell over and over and over. And he would do the Cartman voice, and the crowd would fucking go crazy. They'd laugh. Even the extras were told, they were like, please don't laugh, like nobody knows who this is, but it didn't matter. They'd fucking laugh. They had to, because they loved it. They'd go crazy. And I would just fire the ball over the goddamn backboard and miss every single time. It was awesome. And it made me happy because it meant that I was key. Again, like I said, I was in the fucking movie. It was beautiful. And then we filmed, of course, him hitting the winning shot and them running around the bases and making fun of us and pointing at us. And you can see us reacting, and we're so disappointed. And, the fireworks go off. It was just, we filmed that there. It was a really fun day. And then we came to like the last day of shooting. Well, that day was really fun. And it was, we fucking, again, 13 hours, 14-hour days. And I started to really feel like I was part of the movie. So again, this is February going into March. And I don't even know when the movie comes out. I knew it was going to be a summer movie. That's all I knew. So we had one more day of shooting left. And it was going to be more basketball on the field stuff. I had to wear my felon's costume. But it was just, I wasn't a part of it. I was just on the field. I had to be there. And we started shooting that day, and in the middle of it, they came up with a bit for Matt Sloan where Darcy got a line. He actually got to talk. And they go to psych him out, and they show him like a centerfold or some porn picture, and he just goes, hey, that's my wife. And it was awesome because Matt was definitely going to, he had to be in the cast. He got fully bumped up, and he had to get, they had to get his agents involved because he had to get a certain amount. It wasn't just like, because when you talk, all of a sudden you're now cast in the film. I was still a featured extra, even though I did all that stuff, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to talk in the Costas interview. It was awesome. I was going to get a ton of great camera time, but it still felt, if I would have talked, it would have been better for me, but I understand for the character it wouldn't have. What am I bitching about? Fuck. But it was so awesome that Matt got a line because it meant, we'd worked forever on it, and we had a great time. We had fun. We made great friends, and we got to be on a movie set for over a month, which was fantastic. Over the course of a month, I think I worked probably like 19 hours, 19 hours, not 19 hours, 19 days, 20 days, 21 days, I don't know, 3 weeks, who the fuck knows, almost a month. And for him to get a line on the last day was just the greatest. It bumped him up. He had to get this pay bump. He had to get, they had to give him some cash. It was just so perfect. And even better, man, was there was this weird festive atmosphere because the movie was going to be wrapped shooting. So craft services, we went to craft services for lunch. Dude, they had surf and turf for everybody. Certainly not the extras who are washing their socks and having bagels and bananas, but for the cast, dudes, I went out there, they had steak and lobster. It was fucking insane. And not only that, they were still giving us snacks all day long of chili and spaghetti and all sorts of shit, but dude, steak and fucking lobster. And I got to go out there and I'm eating steak and lobster with the crew and the actors, and at the time I'm like, I can get used to this as I sit in a bedroom in Wisconsin and talking to a phone, but still, it was fucking amazing. And so I was done. I was finished. Movie was over, and then I started to, I went back to bouncing, and I had to go back to work. But then I started to audition, and I started to get some commercials, and it really felt like things were going to take off. And they did for a short amount of time, but to be in a movie was ridiculous. So I called my friends back in Chicago, Jeff and Max and Dennis and those guys, and I told them, I go, hey, I did a movie, and I tried to explain that it was the guys from South Park, and I go, but I'm actually in the movie. It's weird. I'm a guy in it. And they were like, no way. And again, I didn't know when the movie was going to come out, but I knew it was going to be summer. And then when they announced the release date, I think it was July 28th of 1998, which is the day before my birthday. So as it was going to come out, I called my friends, and I wanted to be in Chicago to go to the movie with them, but it turned out it wasn't going to work that way. So July comes, and I forget what movie I was seeing, but I went to Universal City Walk a couple of weeks before Basketball came out, and this was a complete coincidence. I showed up to see a different movie, and I get there, and the premiere of Basketball is there at Universal. And not just the premiere, but they're doing a cast party. And the fact that I was there seeing another movie and having pizza somewhere would indicate that I was not part of the cast, or certainly is not much part of the cast as I thought I was. And it was fucking surreal because I showed up, I saw a movie, I walked out, and they had all of this stuff cordoned off with velvet ropes. They had appetizers and food, and there was a guest list and all these people. And I saw the people on the other side of the velvet rope, and I knew all of them. It was so, it looked, honestly, it looked terrible. It looked like I showed up to kind of try to crash the party, but I clearly did not, because I'm not that guy at all. I was there to see another movie and walked out directly into this premiere. And so I went by the velvet rope, and I was talking to crew guys, and I was talking to some of the guys, like Michael Siegel was there, and Matt and Trey were there. Of course, I didn't talk to them. I don't know them. But I talked to, crew, and they were like, "Are you coming in here?" And I'm like, I wasn't invited. And they go, "Why are you here?" And I go, "I was here seeing a fucking movie. I did not even know this was going on." So a couple of guys went, Michael Siegel and another guy went to try to get me like a pass, and no, that was clearly not happening. And then part of me wanted to get in. I was hoping I could see the movie. It was playing on 3 different screens in Universal. So that's all I wanted to do. I didn't give a fuck about the party. Fuck a canapé. I want to see the movie, for fuck's sake. So I asked Michael if there's a way we could do that, and I wanted to try to fucking finagle my way in, and it didn't happen, man. I tried. I did everything I could. I talked to a couple of the crew guys. I talked to the AD, the woman who said, "Yor Grunsky." She was super awesome. She came up to me, and I'm like, "Is there a way I can get in here and see?" She's like, "Nah, it's media and actual like cast and crew and families, and so every seat is pretty much taken." She goes, "I'll look." And she did it, I understand she was busy. She wasn't going to do everything, but she was really nice, and she checked the list, and there was no space. And so I went in to see my movie while basketball was playing on 3 other screens. And I wanted so badly to sneak in and just get in there, but I couldn't. They had fucking security, and but I wanted to see it. So about a week before it came out, I called my friends. I'm like, "This is the movie. It's this movie, Basketball. I can't be there, and my friends are like, "Dude, we're going." And they started to organize. All my friends are starting to go. They're like, "Dad, fuck, we're going. We're going the opening night. It's going to be amazing because Schmitty's in a movie. Fucking Schmitty's in a movie." Entertainment Weekly comes out that week, and it's got the review of Basketball. Not a great review, but I didn't give a fuck about the review because the picture that they used with the review in Entertainment Weekly magazine is me with Matt and Trey and Squeak, and they're figuring out how they're going to psych me out. It's the shot from the film where I'm standing there waiting to get psyched out. I'm in Entertainment Weekly, and it's like and it's clearly me. I'm there. They're in the foreground. I'm in the background, but it's me, and you can see me. And I'm like, holy fuck, dude! I'm in a fucking Entertainment Weekly, which was awesome. It didn't say Mike Schmidt. It didn't fucking matter. It was a scene from Basketball, and it was my picture. And so then I was really jazzed, and I told my friends, I go, "Look, I'm in this movie, and I filmed all of this stuff. I filmed this montage, and I had an interview with Al Michaels and Bob Costas. I mean, it's gonna be fucking great." So my friends are like, "Dude, that's okay, awesome." So the morning of, I get a phone call from my friend Jeff, and he's like, "Dude, you're on the front page of the Chicago Tribune." I said, "Really?" He goes, the entertainment section. There's a section called the calendar section, which is what it is in LA. Whatever your entertainment section in your local newspaper, the front of it, the full front of it, is the same shot from Entertainment Weekly. It's Matt and Trey in the foreground and me in the background, and it's on my friends are going to the movie, and so then that just validates everything I said, because if I'm on the front page of the fucking Tribune calendar section, obviously I'm in the goddamn movie. They can't wait there, and I'm stoked, and I can't go. I should tell you this: I'm bouncing, and I can't fucking go on Friday the 28th. I have to go the next day, which is my birthday, July 29th. So my friends go that night. They tell me what time they're going, and so all night I'm home, and I'm checking the box office receipts like an idiot to see if it's a success. Because I will also tell you this, when on the last day of shooting, we kind of campaigned a little bit to try to take our Dallas Felons costumes. We asked wardrobe, we're like, "Hey, is there a way, like," because I wanted the jersey more than anything. The shorts were the shorts, who cares? But I go, "Can I keep this Felons jersey?" And she's like, "No, I'm sorry. No, we have to account for everything." And I said, "Well, I'm kind of a big dude, and there's no way anybody else is going to fit into it. I mean, unless you're going to cover a car with it. I don't know why you would need it." I was gently doing it and teasing the wardrobe because they were nice, but they were adamant. They're like, "No." And the woman actually said, "No, we have to keep all of these in case there's a sequel." And I got to be honest, I almost fell down laughing. I mean, part of me was like, maybe there's a possibility. I mean, but then I also thought, fuck, am I going to be back? Like the Revenge of Grunsky? What the fuck's going to happen if they have a sequel? It's going to be amazing. Yeah, save the jersey. I don't want it. So Friday, I'm checking the box office thing to see if there's going to be a sequel, if it's a hit. And it wasn't great. It was kind of middling. It didn't do very well. But more importantly than that, I didn't get a phone call from my friends at all. That was kind of freaky, and I didn't understand why. And I was like, all right, well, maybe it was late, and they felt they didn't want to call me, even though they know I'm up late and there's a 2-hour time difference. But I thought it was ominous. I didn't think it was a good sign. So the next afternoon, I went to the first matinee. And I went to City Walk by my house, and I get in and I settle in to watch the movie. And look, revisionist history now, I would have to see it again to see how I felt about it. I can tell you when I watched it in the movie theater, I felt the same way the reviewers did. I didn't think it was great. I thought Matt and Trey were funny, but I thought there could have been more funny stuff. But then I was watching with kind of a jaundiced eye because I was waiting to see me, and it was just a surreal experience to be there, sitting there, watching a big screen, waiting for yourself to show up. And then the movie unfolds, and there's all these scenes happening, and I realize, I'm in the back. I'm clearly in the background. I'm not there. I'm not doing stuff. And then the movie started to make me laugh because I loosened up a little bit, and I thought it was funnier than I had when I was watching the first fucking half hour. But then, the montage is not in the movie. The interview with Al Michaels and Bob Costas is not in the movie. None of it. None of the stuff I shot is in the movie. The final shot is in there. Certainly, Grunsky getting psyched out and falling, and then that's just my giant fucking face on a big screen, which was really weird and strange. But none of it made the final cut. And I'm sitting there, and it's like this probably affected my enjoyment of the movie. I'm not gonna lie, because I was anticipating and waiting to see where I was in it, and then when I wasn't in it, I was just kind of like, fuck. And then I knew it made me look stupid to my friends, and I know that's dumb, dude. I was in a movie that I worked on for a month. And I didn't lie about that. Clearly, I'm in it. You can see me on the screen. And I told my friends that. That's all I said was that I was in a movie. But I told them I did all the stuff that was, and then none of it makes final cut. And again, like I said, you never tell anybody what you've done until you've seen it, until you have proof, until you know what it's going to be. But I felt so confident because they laughed, they loved it. It was a couple of bits, and it tied into the ending. I thought for sure it was going to be in there, and then it wasn't. The ending scene was great with me. I loved that, just the fact that I was on screen, but I was still pissed and sad, because I had told everybody. But it also dawned on me, I'm like, this is why my fucking friends didn't call me. This is why nobody fucking dialed me up last night. And again, I'm, me, I'm that guy who I can climb into a fucking hole pretty quick. So I'm just like, oh man, that was terrible. It sucked. It was so bad. And it took a day for me to get over it and realize, you know what? No, it wasn't bad. You were in a fucking movie, dude. You granted the stuff you didn't make it, but maybe it'll be on the DVD. Maybe it's on the extras. I don't know. I've never seen the DVD or the extras or anything. I have no idea if any of that stuff made it in. But I was disappointed that I wasn't in the credits. That was the thing that really bothered me. It shouldn't have, probably, but I didn't have a line. So once again, I was reduced to basically featured extra. Matt got into the credits, of course, because he was Darcy and he had a line, but I didn't. I just thought them using me so much would lead to me being in the credits, and I was not. None of the work I did really made it in, and the fact that I wasn't in the credits. It was an amazing experience. I should tell you this, like 2 months later, I got a big fat manila envelope from SAG, and the Screen Actors Guild sent me like 40 checks that were worth $35 each, something like that, for mileage and gas because of where I had to do the shoots. I didn't even anticipate it. I didn't fight for it, but SAG fought for it and said, yeah, you owe this guy mileage. And so I made this extra bonus money fucking 2 months after the movie itself came out. It was amazing. So I loved it. I was thrilled. And that was a nice consolation prize, but I still would have liked to have been in the credits, and I still would have liked the work that I did to actually be in the movie, because then I could have seen it was good or bad, or at least my friends would, I would be validated. I wanted to be validated. I wanted people to know what I had done. The only consolation I take from it, other than the fact that I did a fucking movie, is when you look at the cast list. Robert Vaughn is dead. Yasmine Bleeth might as well be dead. Jenny McCarthy, despite the fact she has jobs on Sirius and XM, she's kind of a joke because of this anti-vaccination thing. The Zuckers disappeared off the face of the earth. So when you boil it down, here we are, 17 years later. And other than Matt Stone and Trey Parker, I'm the most successful cast member to come out of fucking basketball. You guys can get me at Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can be my friend at Facebook.com/the40-year-old-boy. You can find me at Twitter.com/the40-year-old-boy. Don't just find me. Again, follow me. Twitter.com/the40-year-old-boy. Our friend David Hernandez does all of the artwork for this show, David Mex Hernandez. You can find him at Facebook.com/David Mex Hernandez and be his friend. Or you can go to visit his website, artbydmh.com. That's ARTBYDMH.com, and check out all of the amazing paintings he has done. He works in oils, he works in watercolors, he works in human blood. But that's going to cost you. That's really going to cost you extra. But he does all of these amazing things. He has existing paintings you can buy. He will do custom work for you if you contact him. ARTBYDMH.com. David Hernandez. He is a true Renaissance man, doing music, doing all of the artwork, just really classing this show up to a stratosphere that it does not belong. Our producer of this show is Lily Von Stupp. She is the buxom, foul-mouthed goddess of burlesque, and also the best podcasting producer in the business. You can find her at Facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. Or you can be her friend on Facebook at Facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. You can follow her at several different Twitter accounts. Twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp, Twitter.com/MNTs, and Twitter.com/HollywoodBQFest. But if you'd like to write her a personal note and find out just how long she can go without being my producer, as she hides. What if that was the case? She was hiding from me. No, if you want to write her a personal and find out just how much she misses me, go ahead and find her and get her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
Listen to the bees in my head. Too loud, so I surrender instead. I need to be rid of the drone. But if they're gone, then I'm all alone. You know it 'cause it's easy to see. You show it when you try to fix me. Tell me to clean out this hive. But how else would I know I'm alive? Can't find you, I'm blind to. Can't love you when I'm above you. Want to hear you, but I can't hear you. When I'm taken by, when I'm taken by, when I'm taken by the bees. Can't focus on the topic at hand. Can't turn them off, you don't understand. You know I wanna do what is right. I'm helpless when the swarm is in flight. A brood chamber in place of a brain. The queen is dead and they've all gone insane. They carry me away on a wing. They bury you when you feel them sting. Can't find you, I'm I'm taken by the beat. Do what I want at any cost. Can't worry about the friends I have lost. But there are some friends who can't hear my voice. Poor Stephen didn't have any choice. I know you think you know what is best. You wanna poke a stick at the nest. No, the bees are gonna rip me in half. But they're the same bees that make you all laugh. Can't find you, I'm blind to. Can't love you when I'm above you. I want to hear you, but I can't hear you. When I'm taken by, when I'm taken by, when I'm taken by the bees.
Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the Three Clubs on Vine at Santa Monica, a show always produced and occasionally hosted and sometimes danced in by my producer, the lovely, the talented, the foul-mouthed, buxom goddess of burlesque, or the buxom foul-mouthed goddess of burlesque, Lily Von Stupp. She is not here right now because there's 14 inches of snow, and here's a funny thing. I texted her some of these chunks of the show so she could put the show together, and I was like, hey, here you go. And she said, what chunks of the show? Aren't we recording tomorrow? And I said, well, unfortunately, I'm in. And as I was typing my text, unfortunately, I'm still, she goes, are you snowed in? Evil smirk. And I went, yeah, that's an appropriate evil smirk because I am under 14 inches of snow, you dick. And she laughed uproariously and told me it was 70 degrees there at the time that I texted her. So good for her. I'm glad she was able to remind me of that and actually throw in my face the thing I usually throw in other people's faces as I sit here shivering in an igloo. But the Three Clubs, that's the important thing, the Monday Night Teas, and all of the shows that Lily has. She has the Dirty Birdie Story Hour coming up on February 9th. That's this coming Monday, as well as the Monday Night Teas. I think the Valentine's Day show is this week on February 9th. I'm not sure. You want to find out about this stuff, folks? You want to not rely on a maniac talking into a phone in a bedroom? Here's what you do. You go to facebook.com/Monday Night Teas and you become a fan, or a member of the page, or a friend, or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know what you're supposed to do there, but you go ahead and join that page. You get photos from past shows, information about upcoming shows, and sometimes a personal note from our good friend Lily, who is the producer, and as I mentioned, sometimes MC and sometimes dancer, a romancer. I can tell you this, I am not a Capricorn. She is not a Cancer, but that's fine. So she's got the Dirty Birdie Story Hour. She's got Dr. Sketchy's show. And, of course, the Monday Night Teas every Monday night, as I've mentioned, at the Three Clubs. That's a lot of Z's, but I think it's an S. If you go to brownpapertickets.com and you look for our friend Lily Von Stupp's name and you look for Monday Night Teas or any of those things, you will find out there are tickets available for all of those shows. Pick them up now. Buy them because they are more at the door. If you buy them in advance, you save $5, but they're more at the door. And then there's standing room and seats, all that kind of stuff. So go ahead and pick up tickets now at brownpapertickets.com for the Dirty Birdie Story Hour, as well as the the Monday Night Teas every Monday night, and also the Dr. Sketchy Sketching Hour. And Lily's going to be in Vegas in March, I heard. Once I finally get into a room with her and a microphone, we will catch up. We'll find out what she's done. Maybe the first show back with her, she has a microphone. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know if she wants to do that. I shouldn't. First of all, I don't know if she wants to be in a fucking room with me anymore, let alone on microphone. So let me figure that out first. She may have gotten used to it. And again, she may have absconded, disappeared into the night. I don't know. But go to facebook.com/Monday Night Teas to keep track of her movements and keep me updated on where she is in case I need to track her down. David Hernandez is artbydmh.com. I have told you that. Go visit artbydmh.com. Also, our friend Ryan Dirks does all of the web work for this show, and he is available at ryandirks.littleprofiles.com. Is that, damn it, I do this every week. I just had it in my brain. It is ryandirks.littleprofiles.com. I wasn't sure there was a slash in there, but there's not. It's ryandirks.littleprofiles.com, or you can go to facebook.com/Ryan Dirks and become his friend and thank him for doing all the web work. Maintaining, oh, look at that segue. Maintaining MikeSchmidtComedy.com, which is a website you can visit right now, and there are plenty of pages there for you to check out. There's a blog from 4 years ago, all sorts of stuff frozen in time. Most importantly, go to the Joe Business page. If you want to donate to the show, just a standard donation, you can donate on any page of the website. Upper left-hand corner, there's a little Schmitty. Click on him. He's got his pockets out. Fill them up with all of your filthy lucre. But if you want to go to the Joe Business page, the donation link is at the bottom by the Hobo Schmitty right in the front. So you can click on that. And again, you can make a one-time donation of any amount, or you can subscribe monthly. You can go $2 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, or $25 a month. Those are all options for you. Please go ahead and do that. My travels, have I mentioned, brought me to Wisconsin. And so I was, once again, unable to update the Yurt Dirt Dirt shirt price. It is still at Yurt Dirt December prices, but I'm guaranteeing that this is the last week, because once I get home to California, I'll be doing Travis Barbecue, and I'll also be on the web taking care of that. So if you want to grab a shirt at a cut rate price, go ahead and do so now. And if you don't, hey, you know what? I totally understand. Why would you? But they are available, and they are cool. So if you want to get a Yurt Dirt Dirt shirt at Yurt Dirt December prices, do it. You've got just a couple of days left. I will be back in LA this weekend changing the price, and that will be bad. Well, I mean, it'll be good, because you'll still be able to buy a shirt. But if you want to get it at a cut rate price, get it in the next couple of days. So we have the Yurt Dirt shirts. We have, of course, our relationship with Tweaked Audio. All of their earbuds and gear and cock ring watches always available through the link on my page. We've got the downloads. As always, we've got year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, and year 6 of this podcast available individually or as part of the Reservoir Schmidt Dogs box set. Pick it up now and make my past your future. There is the Big Angry CD that I will sign for you and send out to you, and I always enjoy sending that to people and having them enjoy it. Thank you so much for buying the CD and the shirts and the download sets. And also, remember, there is the download of Schmidt Alive 2, the combination audio-video package. You can see me talking, you can hear me talking, you can hear me talking while you're walking, or you can sit still and see me talking on your computer screen as me in a brown shirt break a chair. Go ahead and check that out. And by the way, hold on, me wearing a brown shirt, not me in a Nazi brown shirt. That sounded fucking bad. Me in a brown shirt break a Jewish chair. We smash it to bits. I'm a terrible person if I were to do something like that. So go ahead and check that out. And also on the page, we've got the Amazon link, which is a big deal. If you go through the Amazon link, and I mentioned you send me what you bought through it, tell me, and I'll mention it on the air if you want to do just that. Or like some people have just bought things and said, don't say this on the air. But I wanted to tell you that I supported you and I went ahead and bought something through the link. Thank you. The Amazon link is also by Hobo Schmitty right in the foreground. Click on that, get to our store, click through to the regular Amazon store, and make a purchase, and we get credit. Thank you so much for thinking of me and us. That's super cool. So that's Max, that's everybody. And again, Lily's got live stuff coming up. As I've mentioned, we'll talk about that later. I don't know next week where I will be recording. Who knows? It's always a coin flip at this point. But I will tell you this. Let's address this right now. Let's discuss this. Let's talk about it, because a lot of people wrote me this week saying, hey, congratulations on getting married. Well, you can hear it in the back. Tawny says, congratulations on getting married. Because here's the thing. This week, Storyworthy, which is a great podcast featuring Christine Blackburn and Hannes Finney. Well, I did an episode with them last year sometime, or maybe a year and a half ago, I think. Tawny is barking, and hopefully she can take us out here. But yes, I hear you. I'll be there in a second. Should I go while I'm on the air? No, I got to take care of this. So Christine, they put me on their best of this week, where they did this story where I told the hooker story, which is great. Go check it out. Go download Storyworthy with Christine Blackburn and Hannes Finney, and you'll hear the best of, and you'll hear me on there doing the story about when I met a hooker at a Denny's, or near a Denny's. I met her more at In-N-Out Burger, but then I took her to Denny's because, look, I am nothing if not a spendthrift. So they mentioned in the beginning of the show, and I guess last week I almost said wife instead of girlfriend, which I found out. But here's the thing that cracked me up, is the very same week that happened, I heard it. I didn't even hear it because I didn't get to hear Storyworthy yet, but I heard it because you guys wrote me. I got easily 25 emails from people on Facebook and in regular emails, and they're like, one of them, the first one was like, I'm reading between the lines here. You said wife once on the show this week, and then on Storyworthy they said that you were married and you had moved to Port Washington, Wisconsin. And I thought maybe they were goofing around, and so I didn't think anything of it. But then I started to get more emails and some a couple of ats at Twitter, and then stuff on Facebook. And so I actually mentioned it to Jill. I'm like, I don't know what happened, but apparently you and I got Facebook married or podcast married at some point. And sure enough, Jill went to work, and then she came home from work. She goes, honey, you've got to listen to this. So she played it, and Christine and Hannes were talking about me, and they were setting me up and saying I was a very funny comedian. And Hannes said that it wasn't even, I thought it was a goof, because Hannes is a Packer fan. He used to tease me about the fact that Jill was a Packer fan and I was a Bear fan. But fucking dude, he committed to it. Like, he legitimately said, Mike is married, and he now has moved to Port Washington, Wisconsin, which was kind of a shock. I mean, both of those. I mean, I'm here a lot, certainly, and I'm I'm with Jill, and I love being with her, but we haven't exactly exchanged rings just yet. I mean, I mean, it seems a bit of a jumping of the gun to proclaim. Because again, here's the thing too. I like Hannes and I like Christine. I know Christine more than I know Hannes. What, 90 seconds of research? If that, 30 seconds of research. How about an email or a text? Christine's got my phone number. Text me and go, dude, did you get married and move to Wisconsin? And I just go, no, I didn't, but thank you. But instead, they just fucking committed to it right on there. And they're like, yeah, they moved to Port Washington and he got married. And it's like, dude, no, none of that is true. I mean, certainly it's pleasant. So Jill and I all week we've been like, oh, honey, it's like husband and wife. We're now podcast and Facebook married apparently. So I guess when I'm here, I have to be married. If I'm in Wisconsin, we're married. If she comes to California, well then, we're just living in sin, and a lot of fucking sin. But it made me laugh that they would commit to it, because again, I listened to it to hear it. Dude, he absolutely said that I was married and I moved to Port Washington, Wisconsin. And again, 90 fucking seconds of research. Even on Facebook, you could look and see that it wasn't true, or you could call me. Christine has my number. Call me, Christine. I don't get it. And again, not that it's like a fucking terrible idea, but the fact that they would even say that was like, I was really shocked.
Literally, this show starts as a tiny snowball, and at the end, the hundreds are dead at the bottom of a ravine. I mean, I get that. Believe me, if there's any show in the history of the world that does not need to be transcribed for posterity, it's this one. I like when nobody can see the seams. I like when I'm able to kind of just, fly with the bees wherever. When I have to actually stop the bees and ask for directions, that's not fun. I just like unleashing the bees, but when the bees have to stop in mid-flight and we all have to kind of look at each other and bust out a fucking map, that's not fun at all. I want to saddle up these bees and ride, goddammit! I'm done.